Told me love don't live around here no more. So I built a city in the dark looking for you. Neon halo over sinners in designer clothes. Angels in the section throwing roses at the post. Everybody broken but we hide it in the gold. Dancing with the devil while we praying for control. I came from the bottom where the wine turned bitter, where the snake talk slick and the cold get colder. Now I move water like a prophet in the winter, turn pain into champagne every time I pour over. Crossroads, lost souls all inside the venue. Heart full of scars but the lights make them sensual. Every bad decision got a price in the menu. Still I break bread with the ones that would end you. If love's a religion, then why we all sinning? Why every kiss feels forbidden? Still chase that light like we already seen it. We all want heaven without dying tonight. Want diamonds and forever in the same neon lights. Everybody reaching for a feeling they can't buy, so we toast to the stars while we slowly lose our minds. But if I fall, would you carry my name through the fire at all? If the world go dark and the last song calls, would you still choose love at the end of it all? And I've been running on fumes in a room full of saints with a halo of smoke and a head full of blame. If there's mercy left, let it know my face. If there's room in the dark, let me stay. We all want heaven without dying tonight. Want diamonds and forever in the same neon lights. Everybody reaching for a feeling they can't buy, so we toast to the stars while we slowly lose our minds. But if I fall, would you carry my name through the fire at all? If the world go dark and the last song calls, would you still choose love at the end of it all? Neon salvation. Neon salvation. Told me love don't live around here no more. So I built a city in the dark looking for you. Neon halo over sinners in designer clothes. Angels in the section throwing roses at the post. Everybody broken but we hide it in the gold. Dancing with the devil while we praying for control. I came from the bottom where the wine turned bitter, where the snake talk slick and the cold get colder. Now I move water like a prophet in the winter, turn pain into champagne every time I pour over. Crossroads, lost souls all inside the venue. Heart full of scars but the lights make them sensual. Every bad decision got a price in the menu. Still I break bread with the ones that would end you. If love's a religion, then why we all sinning? Why every kiss feels forbidden? Still chase that light like we already seen it. We all want heaven without dying tonight. Want diamonds and forever in the same neon lights. Everybody reaching for a feeling they can't buy, so we toast to the stars while we slowly lose our minds. But if I fall, would you carry my name through the fire at all? If the world go dark and the last song calls, would you still choose flames with a halo of smoke and a head full of blame. If there's mercy left, let it know my face. If there's room in the dark, let me stay. We all want heaven without dying tonight. Want diamonds and forever in the same neon lights. Everybody reaching for a feeling they can't buy, so we toast to the stars while we slowly lose our minds. But if I fall, would you carry my name through the fire at all? If the world go dark and the last song calls, would you still choose love at the end of it all? Neon salvation. Neon salvation. Told me love don't live around here no more. So I built a city in the dark looking for you. Neon halo over sinners in designer clothes. Angels in the section throwing roses at the post. Everybody broken but we hide it in the gold. Dancing with the devil while we praying for control. I came from the bottom where the wine turned bitter, where the snake talk slick and the cold get colder. Now I move water like a prophet in the winter, turn pain into champagne every time I pour over. Crossroads, lost souls all inside the venue. Heart full of scars but the lights make them sensual. Every bad decision got a price in a menu. Still I break bread with the ones that would end you. If love's a religion, then why we all sinning? Why every kiss feel forbidden? Still chase that light like we already seen it. We all want heaven without dying tonight. Want diamonds and forever in the same neon lights. Everybody reaching for a feeling they can't buy, so we toast to the stars while we slowly lose our minds. But if I fall, would you carry my name through the fire at all? If the world go dark and the last song calls, would you still choose love at the end of it all? And I've been running on fumes in a room full of saints with a halo of smoke and a head full of blame. If there's mercy left, let it know my face. If there's room in the dark, let me stay. We all want heaven without dying tonight. Want diamonds and forever in the same neon lights. Everybody reaching for a feeling they can't buy, so we toast to the stars while we slowly lose our minds. But if I fall, would you carry my name through the fire at all? If the world go dark and the last song calls, would you still choose love at the end of it all? Neon salvation. Neon salvation.
To every single one of you guys and gals in advance. And yeah, as always, God bless you guys. Thanks for being here. I appreciate the love and support every single one of y'all has ever shown me. Like I always say, and I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but if you're here from the old channel, the Poach Center channel, your boy JDQ channel, um, I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart, because I know it's an extremely ginormous leap to go from that channel to this channel, and the content is extremely different. This channel has nothing to do with the content from the original channel. It's its own thing. It's a separate entity and content type altogether. Collective Minds podcast, or Collective Minds pod, is asking, what is this channel going to be now? Well, this channel was born from, I want to say, like the COVID days, right? Um, it was meant to be like a smooth transition from the main channel, where I used to do like interviews with like the catchers and the confronters of PDF files and all that, to different topics altogether, right? This is not meant to be looked at or considered like a Christian channel. It is not a Christian channel by any means. However, it is somewhat Christ-centered. All that means is that from time to time, every now and then, I will touch on, very delicate, biblical, quote unquote, faith-based topics, right? I've had interviews with pastors on here in the past. I've had interviews with like people in ministry. I've had interviews with, musicians from like churches, uh, preachers, etc. Right? But that's not always the case. I tend to do that from time to time because I do believe in maintaining a good balance between sharing my faith with everyone, but at the same time talking about topics that I deem worthy or interesting to talk about, right? So that could be anything between real world, real life events, right? Like the Lindsay trial situation that's going on right now. For those of you who don't know about the mother who, supposedly and apparently ended certain lives of really, really loved ones, right, of her own. But for those of us who have been following the case, we deem it to be a whole nother situation altogether, right, involving the husband. But we'll get to that later. But that's what I'm trying to say. Like from time to time, I'll touch on topics like that, right? And at the same time, and on the other side of the coin, I will also talk about topics like in the entertainment industry, right? Like what happened with Hayden Panettiere recently, which was extremely sad. Used to be a big fan of hers. So, and of course, things of interest like, topics of entertainment, media that interest me as well, such as like the Avengers Doomsday movie coming up later this year, right? So it's not like an extremely specific niche as a whole and collective. However, when it comes to like the podcast episodes of the channel, you will see that there is a specific niche talking about, the importance of like what we listen to, what we watch, taking into consideration, in the spiritual sense, and taking into consideration how things that we listen to and view can either help us or affect us spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and so on and so forth, right? And Collective Minds Pod says, Amen, brother. In today's world, we need all the Jesus we can get. Make sure to check us out. I believe the Clancy trial is a psyop to divide and get the liberal women riled up for the midterms. And we will touch on that later in the show. So I will keep this thought and feedback into consideration. But I see where you're coming from. And I'm not going to deny or agree to that statement. I'm going to say, let's talk about it, right? But I do see and understand where you're coming from. So God bless you. Thanks for speaking up and giving me your point of view. I appreciate everybody's feedback and everybody's opinions. And it's always a good time interacting with you guys back and forth. I love seeing everybody's comments. I read everybody's comments. Obviously, it's a lot easier now with like less viewership than before. Like before on the other channel, I had to like scroll back up a few times just to get to someone's comment. Now, because it's like a lot less people, it's a lot easier to get, interact with you guys. Yeah, bro. Yeah. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Definitely. I will give you guys a view and I'll subscribe to you guys after the show, or who knows, I might even do it like during the show, and I'll check you guys' content out. But I highly do suggest, if you're gonna check our content out, I would look through the playlist that says podcast episodes or team streams. Those are the ones that are the essence of the channel per se. The team streams is where like my other co-hosts of the team of Vision ID TV actually are on the episodes with me, and we have really extensive, deep conversations and dialogue about really serious and delicate topics, right? And we really go like dive deep into some of those topics, biblically and also at a human level, right? But anyways, before I keep yapping my mouth, I am gonna do an extremely fast, quick prayer. Not because this is a Christian channel, because it's not, but I do believe in like praying over the protection of you guys and myself, right? For those of you who are gonna be viewing the show, or just listening in the background as you're doing something else, I love the community that's involved in this channel. A lot of you guys came from the other main channel, which I'm grateful for. But some of you guys found this channel in a different mean altogether. And I'm grateful for you guys as well. So I always try to watch out and protect you guys with prayer, right? Yeah, so let me just do that real quick and we'll get right into it. Father God, we come to you. We give you thanks. We give you praise, worship, and glory. We're grateful for another day that you have gifted us, another day for us to potentially draw closer to you, another day that you've given us to allow us to feel our way towards you, Father God, whether it be through the peace of our day to day or through the trials or tribulations of our season that we might be going through, Father God. Either way, we're grateful that you allow us to and give us opportunities to feel our way towards you. I pray that in this very moment, this episode, this show, blesses anybody and everybody watching and listening, those who are already supporters and those who are just visiting and stopping by alike. I ask that you bless them both equally, Father God, that whatever topic we talk about tonight truly does benefit everybody's minds, everybody's spirits, that it edifies every single one of us, and that you bless us through everything that's said here, whether it be our own opinions or whether it be through your word, whatever the case may be. We just ask for you to protect us, protect our eyes, protect our ears, and that you bless us through the entirety of this show, Father God. I pray these things, and I pray and declare protection over the viewers, the listeners, and myself in the name of Jesus Christ, thanking you in advance for what you've done, what you're doing, and what you will do. Amen, amen, amen. All right. So, I actually have a teleprompter, a feature on StreamYard, which I'm not going to be able to use because, yeah, it's like, I only wrote like a few topics in there, but I guess because of the way it's set up and the way the template is, I'm not going to be able to like put it on the screen because it's too much for it to handle, I guess. And so, bless me. And so I guess I'll just read them out as I'm going through the topics throughout the stream, throughout the show. But basically, let's see what I have here real quick. I don't really care if it's in order. Yeah, let's just go with the Lindsay situation, right? I'm not gonna put it on the screen; it's too much. But anyways, let's talk about it. Matter of fact, while I'm at it, I'm gonna try to put a separate tab over here so everybody can see what I'm talking about. Okay. Dear God. Okay. I'm trying to find like an actual good. Dear Lord. All these are terrible pictures, but let's pick a really disturbing one, I guess. That way, it's just a lot easier to follow, and who knows, it might even help the algo. You know, who knows? Let's see if we can't zoom in on this. This is pretty gross. Okay, yeah. Let's share the screen real quick. Well, I apologize in advance. All right, it's a pretty disturbing photo. Yeah, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Matter of fact, let's do something. Let's do a quick exercise. Let's see how many of you guys and gals in live chat are actually following along. Let me know how you guys even came to the knowledge of this case at all, because I'm not gonna lie. I think I found out personally. When was it? Today's Friday. I think I first heard about it maybe, I don't know, maybe like Monday or a few days before Monday or around Monday. Um, Before that, I had no knowledge of the situation. And my sister was actually the one who brought it up and was like, hey, have you been following along with this trial or whatever? I'm like, what? And then she explained it to me, right? But my sister, God bless her heart, um, well, she's unlike me in the sense that she holds a lot of information, right? And she wants to share all of it, but in a really condensed way. And while I do appreciate the reason why she wants to do it that way, I'm someone who I don't mind like you telling me all the details. I don't mind sitting down for a few minutes and taking it all in and being like, oh, word, that happened? That's crazy. So, but anyways, she gave me all the info in a matter of like seconds or like minutes. And it was really hard to digest. But at the same time, it was easy for me to kind of like from the jump come to my own conclusion, right? And I want to hear what you guys got to say though. Hamster says I deactivated my Facebook earlier for a while because of this case. I couldn't see that crap in the people defending her anymore. It was flooding my feed. Women were posting they would have done the same thing, and I was losing my mind over the comments and just deactivated my. Okay, so all right, how do I put this? How do I put this gently? I'm gonna be quote unquote right the devil's advocate here, and I'm just gonna play it neutral because the thing is, I truly, genuinely want to hear everybody's opinion and everybody's like mindset, you know, about this whole situation and scenario, right? Because so if I take what was told to me like verbatim and for face value, then like from the jump, it does sound like especially with like what the husband has done since this whole situation like blew up. There's a lot of questionable action that he's taken, right, ever since. And that's what makes me curious to like really hear what everybody has to say about this and where everybody's head is at with this whole case. Because I could make up my own conclusion based on what was told to me and based on what information I've come across, but I'm always curious to see what people have to say. Okay, so Jay Wendell says, I have empathy for mental health problems, but she's the one who strangled the kids. Come on now. Okay. And again, this is the reason why I need to play the, quote unquote devil's advocate is because, you know, sadly, real life, uh, it's not always as black and white as we hope and want it to be, right? And it sucks because I'm someone who strongly believes in like it's either black or white, yes or no, true or false, right? But sadly, in the real world, we come across a lot of cases, a lot of trials that there's a lot of things that are in between of like what was said and what was done and what was said that was done. And nobody has all the pieces to the puzzle, right? So not everybody can say this is what it is. How some people say, oh, if quacks like a duck and moves like a duck, and then it is a duck, right? Sadly, it's not as clear as day as that, right? Again, especially when you see the behavior and the actions that um, the husband has been taking, right, during the trial, during this whole entire experience, really, it's questionable. There's a lot. He's doing a lot of things that are really highly questionable. You know what I mean? How do you go from like 1 minute, taking care of like the mother of your kids and being there as a family, and then out of nowhere, you have already this like person that you're dating or something more serious. You know, these are things to consider, right? Um, Wendell says, I'm not saying you shouldn't look into the husband, but she did commit the act at the end of the day. Okay. Now here comes the question. Here comes the question. Let's say she did, right? Let's say she did. Let, let's go that route. And let's say you know, let's say that it happened the way people are assuming that it happened, while still taking into consideration legitimate actual psychosis. Because that's the thing. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference between acting out of rage and anger versus acting out of psychosis. And if you ask any medical professional, they will, I can't do it because I'm not a professional, right? But there are clear differences between, committing crimes out of pure like rage, right? And anger and just emotional um, disturbance, right? Versus psychosis. When you're under a psychosis, it's kind of like saying like you're not even aware of what you're doing to a certain extent, to a certain degree, right? To a certain level, if genuine, and that's the key word here, genuinely under psychosis, not assuming or assumed psychosis, not apparent psychosis, genuine psychosis, right? It's like you're not even there. Like the body is doing something that the mind is not even aware of, right? And there's a lot more to it than that, but that I have to make the difference because there is a difference to be considered between those two things, right? So if that were the case, right? Well, let's read some of the comments. Wendell says, okay, I understand that, but I still think she needs to go to a mental hospital for a long time. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that statement 1,000%. Right? Okay, and Hamster says she had time to Google her plan. That's not psychosis, and she remembers it. You don't remember if you're under psychosis. Okay, you could remember things before a psychosis. You could remember things that happened before a psychosis, and you could plan all day long, right? You could plan things all day long. You could have the intent. You could be like plotting the entire time. But if the lights go out upstairs, up in the head, and you blank out, and I'm talking about genuinely blank out. I'm not talking about like you're pretending that you blanked out. Like if you literally genuinely blacked out and blanked out and checked out upstairs, right, in your head, and whatever happened. But up until the point where before you blacked out, you were just entertaining and considering doing some of these things without actually going through with them purposely. Again, there is a difference. And this is not me defending anybody. Let me make that clear. Let me make that 1,000% clear. I'm not defending, the person at all in any way, shape, or form, right? But I do have to play devil's advocate because sadly, I'm blacking out, guys. Watch out. Sadly, like unless we take the time to quote unquote play the devil's advocate, sometimes we won't even come across really good theories, really valid theories that might help get to a better verdict, right? A better understanding of the entirety of the case versus just being like, nope, she did what she did, go straight to jail, right? Don't collect $200, don't pass go, straight to jail, right? sadly, unless we take the time to really play devil's advocate and try to quote unquote make up excuses, right, for the criminal, right, or the alleged criminal, right, we're not gonna encounter or uncover a lot of potential, better, smoother, like, theories or evidence, right? That had we just closed our eyes and just been like blindly saying like white or black, we would have never come across, right? Uh, this comment's killing me. I'm blanking out, guys. Watch out. I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. So many amendments in the Constitution. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. Wendell says, can a psychosis be triggered, though, by that planning? I don't know. And see, this is why we got to ask these questions. These are the questions that need to be, like, really, like, dug out, right? So, like, again, to see if we can encounter and come across, like, some dots that need to be connected that aren't there unless we do ask these questions, right? But I mean, I'll put it to you even in a way that's easier for some of you guys to kind of like be more grounded. Okay, let's pretend the person on trial here, right, is, I don't know, a brother, a sister, a mother, a father, a loved one, right? Like, would we truly, genuine, and take your time before you answer, because it's easy to answer from the jump, like, yeah, definitely, or, oh no, definitely not. Really take the time to really think about it before you answer. Let's say this person on trial who allegedly committed these crimes was your parent, a sibling, a family member, a loved one, etc. You know, would we be quick to say, "Yep, definitely straight to jail," right, or definitely to a mental hospital, or would we ask a million questions before getting to that conclusion? You know what I'm saying? These are the questions that we need to ask ourselves, because it's easy when it's like someone that we don't know, when it's a stranger, when it's someone that we have no emotional ties to, right? But yet, this is exactly the type of, like, levels of question that both technically a jury and anyone involved in the case, right, needs to ask themselves, right? And if it were someone that I knew, like a family member, like a friend, I don't know, a loved one, I would ask a million questions before getting straight to the part of, like, oh, send them straight to jail, send them straight to the mental institution or whatever. Like, questions need to be asked, So, going back to the other question. Look at her face. That's a demon, bro. Oh, here's the other thing. Well, hold on. I might touch on that later. But, to my understanding, I could be wrong. I could be under, I don't know, another impression, right? But am I incorrect or correct to bring up the fact that apparently she's gonna be pretty much in a wheelchair for the rest of her life, or something along those lines, like restrained to some type of, like, paraplegic situation? Yes or no? Let me know in the live chat, because I don't know. I feel like that's something that was part of the whole case, is that based on what she did, allegedly and apparently, to her children and herself. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I think something about her being confined to, like, some level of paraplegia or something like that. I don't know. But if I'm right or wrong, just let me know in the live chat. Wendell says, I agree, but why are people lining up and cheering for her like she's a hero? Haha, I don't get it. I don't know. I have not been like that much on social media. I guess maybe that might be happening on Facebook or something like that, or Instagram. I'm not sure because I have not been following the case directly on social media. I've only been following up like through like YouTube, or like just other platforms, I guess, that isn't doesn't really have the commentary or viewership that strongly. So I don't know. I don't know who is all cheering for her as if she were like a hero. I don't know if that, like, you would have to show me or send me visuals of that so that I can see for myself like what you mean. Um, okay, well, so let's do something. Let's do something. Send me some of those links to those pages, to those comments, so that I can read them and go through them and see what all people are saying. Timber. Well, not visuals of, I mean visuals like of the comments. I guess I don't know. I don't know if it's still too disturbing as far as like comments go. But I'd be open to read some of the comments if I don't have to like cuss or something like that. But Hamster says, Timber, enjoy that chair then. No empathy or sympathy, bro. You haven't seen what people are saying on Facebook, or you'd be so heated. Uh, oh, really? Word? Dang. Well, it must be really, really bad then. I mean, if it's comments and it's really that disturbing, then damn, that has to be some like really effed up situations there. It's happening in real life. People cheering for her going into court. Everyone wearing pink. Really? I have not seen any of this. Let me. Should I do a quick search? Should I do a quick search? And if it's something like soft core, share it on screen, or should I just do that separately after the show? Let me know. Let me know in the live chat if that's something that I can or should share. Because I was not aware of that part. I really wasn't. I was not aware. Um, Hamster says, I don't want to show you visuals. It's too disturbing. That's what I meant. The comments won't understand. Okay. They do it so that they could arousing. Huh. Hmm. Interesting. Now, when you say that, are you talking about like women saying that they would have committed the alleged crimes, that this person is on trial for, or are we talking about like something else? Like, because that it wouldn't make any sense. Like it like without out of context. If someone says, "Oh, like I would have done the same thing," or like I'm her, but without any context, then maybe I could see that, because maybe they're not being specific enough as to like what they're referring to when they say they would do it too. Um, so they would. Hamster says, "Yep," because they had quote unquote issues too. So they would have been justified in it. That's just strange, though. That's just really odd. Okay. See, now we're getting somewhere. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay, it doesn't make sense to me too. I think it's mostly women talking about postpartum depression. Maybe. Okay. Yes, I was talking about just this with someone recently. Well, actually, with my sister. She mentioned it first, and then I was talking to somebody else um, who was mentioning the same thing. How postpartum. This is another term for that, but there is a real legitimate biological um, brain chemical reaction or unbalance that happens sometimes. Obviously, this is like a you know it's not a large amount of percentage of women that go through this, but it has been documented and shown in the past and in the present how the small percentage of women who do go through this brain chemical imbalance in postpartum um, depression or postpartum symptoms, right? Really heavy symptoms that changes the brain chemistry and the hormones and all this other stuff, and it makes women act in a way that they normally wouldn't. Um, I think it's also another factor to consider because again, it's man, I don't even know where to begin to make the simulations here, but it's kind of like there's things that won't always make 100% sense in real world circumstances, but on paper, like it does make sense. For example, like I have seen and heard of instances where when dogs have their pups, right? Let's say they have like, well, I don't know, like five or 10 pups at a time, or something along those lines, right? They have a bunch of like little pup babies. I've seen and heard of times where that mother dog, right, ends up eating one or two or one or other of these babies, and the reasoning behind it for vets and other doctors and scientists in that field of like animals is that they explain how the animal is able to detect whether or not some of these like baby pups are going to like make it, or they're not gonna survive. They're not gonna end up like living, so they end up like eating the pup back or killing it or something along those lines. And again, while on paper it sounds like, oh, okay, I guess that kind of sort of makes sense, but it doesn't take away the fact that like in real world, like in person moments, it's like that's kind of effed up. That's kind of like it doesn't make any sense, right? And yet it's a biological reaction from that mother dog to its pups, right? And who are we to be like damning the mom dog, right? And be like, oh, like what a demon, like what is she doing, like eating her pups back up or whatever? That's diabolical. That's satanic. But yet it's somehow a biological response to a certain intuition that that mother dog has with those pups. You know what I mean? I know it's not like a majorly super direct correlation, but I just mean, there are biological them kids weren't sick. I know, and that's what I'm saying. There's not a direct correlation. Like it's not like a super mega like ultra direct correlation, right? Yes, humans are different than animals, right? But what I'm trying to get at is sometimes there are biological changes, right, in both humans and animals that make them react and act out in ways that they normally wouldn't. That's the point I was trying to make with that example. And that's even more true with uh, women. You know, again, there are certain things that genuinely change in the brain chemistry when they legitimately go through these postpartum depression symptoms. It's not an act. They're not acting like they're crazy. They're not playing a part. They're not playing a role. They're not like doing things for fun. They're not acting like a crazy person for fun. It's actual legitimate biological changes that happen within that person that they themselves cannot correct unless they have some type of like medical assistance to help pretty much put things back together, and to help them gain control of their mental state. uh Wendell says, for sure I get it, but bad situation for everyone in the family. I think my pushback is just against all the crazy people riding for her so hard. Yeah, yeah, That's true. That's a really disturbing thing, right? Uh, Cody Ice says, "Hey JDQ, hope you've been good." Yeah, I've been okay. I've been okay. Things can always be better, right? And there's always room for improvement. But I'm alive. I'm healthy-ish, and we keep pushing forward regardless of what we like went through and what we put others through, right? We're still here, and we're trying to be better for every single day that we have woken up ever since. Um, Hamster says we don't know that. If I did that, the first thing I'd do is act crazy and say I had psychosis. Yes, and I get where you're coming from. I absolutely understand where you're coming from, and I understand that it could make a precedence for people to use this as an easy out, right? However, in order for you to be able to prove that it was legitimate and genuine psychosis or something else, there's so many things that need to be discussed and proven with evidence, would it be psychological, like evaluation, medical evaluation, physical evaluation, emotional evaluation. There's so many things that they would have to like prove that it was like legit, because just because you say it was psychosis does not mean that you're going to be able to prove with beyond a shadow of a doubt that it was psychosis. You see what I'm saying? So while it looks like it could be used as an easy out for like people who want to commit these like acts and crimes, for them to use this as an easy out or as an excuse, well, good luck proving all the necessary evidence and proof that you need to prove in order for it to actually count in your favor. You know what I mean? Um, Wendell says, I didn't see all this support for Casey Anthony. I think the internet has made people say, yeah, and that's why we're here to talk about it. As matter of fact, I mean, by all means, if any of you guys are able to send me any link to any interesting connections or updates about this case, I would appreciate it, because I could kind of like put it up on the screen and we can like keep doing commentary on it about it. But yeah, man, I don't know. Hmm, I continue to have to play devil's advocate and be like, I think something else was going on. And this is not me defending her. This is not me in any way, shape, or form supporting her or anybody really. I'm just keeping an open mind. I'm keeping an open mind, and I'm leaning a little more towards like the husband having to do a lot with this situation, a lot more than what we think and believe. Um, was originally stated. Um, so I don't know. I don't know. That's again me playing devil's advocate, because again, not to sound like a broken record, sometimes you have to play the devil's advocate, because otherwise you will not uncover a lot of other potential possibilities or explanations or dots to be connected, if you just were to blindly believe one thing or another without keeping an open mind, right? Keeping an open mind is what reveals more information and reveals more theories that are, potentially more correct. So that's my take on that whole situation. But I will say, like, the whole husband situation um, has me greatly like bothered, and yeah. Well, she said she did it. The defense said she did it. I love you, man. I love you. I love all you guys. Yeah, I mean, I wish it was just like that simple, you know, because you could be, you could come to the conclusion and you could fess up all on your own, like, oh, like, I did this or whatever, right? But then if evidence comes out suggests otherwise, and they're able to say, yeah, true, you did that, but it was because of this other thing or this other person or this other situation, that you had no control over, or had control over you, right? So it's like we could confess all we want. Uh, I'm not saying that either. But what I am saying is I feel like the husband just has a lot more to do with it than we have yet to uncover. Who knows? I mean, that's a possibility. That's a possibility, and that's actually a theory that I don't know if it was my sister or somebody that she encountered like online. Someone brought that up. Someone said, um, yeah, that the husband did it and she's just taking a fall. But it's still weird. Like any way you dish it and like serve it, it's still weird. But people have done crazier things. You been Well, I don't know, man. I don't know because my sister's definitely not liberal. My sister's more like on the neutral, if anything, on the um, what do you call it, conservative side of things. Like she'll be neutral about a lot, but she'll normally lean more towards like the traditional and the the conservative side of things. But I hear you. I understand where you're coming, and I know why you're saying that. I get it. But again, this is not me defending anybody. This is not me supporting anybody. This is not me applauding or saying like, you know, who's in the wrong or right. I'm just saying, let's keep an open mind and let's allow for the evidence to continue to surface. And who knows? What if for all we know, some of these, I don't know, these Google searches or whatever the case may be, were made by the husband, and she was made to say it was like her. Like it's again, people have done a lot crazier things in the past. And I'll put it to you like this. So, who here remembers the OJ trials, the OJ Simpson trial, right? Now, there were a lot of things pointing towards him being guilty, correct? I don't know how many of y'all remember that case, but if you go back and watch it from beginning to end, a lot of things, most things were pointing towards him being guilty of the crime, right? A lot of, like, most things, right? To not say everything, most things were pointing and hinting at him being uh, responsible, right? Or potentially involved in said crime, right? Um, but what happened? What happened at the end of the case in the trial? Oh, the glove doesn't fit, and that's it. That was the winning argument. Is, oh, the glove didn't fit. Like, so everything that was like uncovered up until that point was like null and just ignored. And now because the glove doesn't fit, all of a sudden, oh, it couldn't be him. Let's just ignore these like other 30 pieces of evidence hinting at him potentially being responsible for the crime, and let's just focus on the glove not fitting. You know what I mean? So people have done crazier things, and there's been crazy outcomes to these things, and you just never know. You just never know. He did that too. The jurors said they let him off for justice for Rodney King. Exactly. But anyways, anybody here have any links or pages or clips of content that you would like me to review before I cross over to the next topic? Let me know in the live chat. Share it with me in the live chat. That way I can copy paste it and go from there. If not, then I will transition to the next topic. Let me know. Oh, Hamster said I did until I deactivated my Facebook over this. Well, my friend, you're gonna have to. You might have to tell somebody and be like, hey, you still got some of that juicy content that I can. No. It's all good. Like if I mean I understand a lot of people have apparently been so distraught and so disturbed about this whole situation that I completely understand, and there's zero judgment whatsoever. If you felt the need to remove yourself from social media to protect your mental health, I completely get it, and I respect that, and yeah, not a big deal. Um, but for those of you who do have anything that I can share before transitioning to the next topic, I will highly appreciate it. Highly appreciate it. Um, Hamster says it was all women too. Made me glad that I'm single with no kids. This is me pretending to know what you sound like. I mean, this is me acting out what the entirety of the sentence sounds like in my head. It was all women too. Made me glad that I'm single with no kids. Like, well, who knows? Maybe you sound like me. Maybe it sounds like this. Like, it was all women too. Made me glad that I'm single with no kids. Earth. Like I don't know. Like, anyways. So if nobody has any links or pieces of content that I can share about this, I will. Well, let's see if I can read some of the comments here. If there's any to read, let's go to the comments. Oh, maybe not. No, maybe. Yeah. No, I don't know. It didn't want to pull up the comments. Yeah. Yeah, but how long ago was that? The fact that I was able to kind of like pull that back up from subconscious like memory is wild. That was a like long time ago. I don't know. I would dare say like maybe like 2 years ago, some change, maybe a little longer than that. But hey, I'm glad that that I nailed it. Dear God, 5 years has it really been that long? Oh my geez, holy crap, man! Yeah, I've been gone for like so long that everything just feels and seems like less of a time jump. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's just yeah, I've removed myself for 2 years or something like that. So now everything feels like it happened yesterday. It's weird. But anyways. Um let me see what we got over here. Okay. All right, so we're gonna get into a little bit more of the nitty gritty of the channel essence here. But hey, I'm glad everybody had their 2 cents in the comment section about this whole trial situation. I love seeing the interaction between you guys and back and forth with me, sharing your thoughts, your opinions. Everybody's opinions are always welcome here, as long as you keep it respectful, as long as you keep it decent, as long as you keep it, what I'm saying, just gentleman-like or lady-like. I try to keep things like somewhat PG-13 on here as best as I can. Anyways, I'm about to share something with you guys that I was watching. I don't know if it was like yesterday or the day before yesterday, and when I saw it, initially when I saw it, I had mixed emotions. I was like, I don't know how to feel about this because, like, I'm glad that someone's talking about it, but at the same time, it was something that I have been wanting. I mean, I did briefly touch on it like years ago with Geeko and producer Jay. We kind of like somewhat briefly touch on this topic, but this podcast that I watch and listen to every now and then. I don't really listen to it often, not because it's not good. It's really good and it's really edifying. But I try not to watch too many podcasts because I don't want to, dear God, because I don't want to like copy anybody. I don't want anybody's like content to dictate, you know, the content that I make, and I don't want to copy anybody. I don't want to duplicate anybody's work. So well, I think you were raised banned for engagement. See, I say, because it worked on me. No, no, no. I genuinely, again, I just. By the way, that was one of these night lights that I have on the desk. It was clearly not anything else. I'm moving it side to side here. So if you think any otherwise, you're wrong. But in case you need proof, I'm just gonna show you. This is what made that sound just now. Right. Anyways, yeah, no, I just truly believe in sometimes you do have to play devil's advocate in order to reach more reasonable, logical conclusions and just more evidence overall. Um, uh, usually I tend to lean more towards like things are like black and white, pretty straightforward. I don't really dance around too much when it comes to cases. However, what I've learned over time, watching different trials and different cases over the years, is I've seen how a lot of uncovered information, crystal ball. Um, yeah, a lot of times, like when there's not information available, but that happened, right? But it's just not available to the public. It's easy to come to certain conclusions. However, once that information is presented, then now all of a sudden you have like a weird gray middle ground, right? And that's where sadly things usually tend to land at, is that weird gray middle area for these trials. But anyways, I would turn this on. Let me see. Yeah, it's not gonna turn on. I would turn this on, but I have to put batteries in it because usually I have a cable on it. But yeah, it is somewhat of a crystal ball, just not magic wise. It's just, listen, I prefer to sleep with like lights above me or like near me, not for any like specific reason. It's just peaceful and comforting, and I like to look at different colored lights and like fall asleep to it. So no judgment. Don't judge. Anyways, let me share the channel and the podcast that I'm talking about. So okay, so if we read the title of the podcast episode, it says the music industry's secret demonic programming, right? Frequencies, witchcraft, and humiliation rituals. Um, so my team and I, right, Geeko, producer Jay, uh, David, in the past, and some of the team streams of the years ago, we briefly touched on frequencies and music, and how frequencies and different types of music and songs and all that affect our minds, our brains, right? Our spirits, and all these other things. um so I'm going to play a little bit of this podcast so that we can all kind of like understand why I initially had mixed emotions, but now I'm just like supportive that they're even talking about this. It's not the first time I come across a video of this topic, but it was refreshing to see someone else talk about it, and be able to express, right, and have like a clear, more in-depth dialogue of what I've been wanting to talk about. And it's funny because I've talked to people like Fallen World Films, and oh my goodness, Constantine, and other content creators who know music, and they're musicians, and they understand a lot of like fundamentals within like how like music works and what music does in the human body, in the human brain, etc. Right? and how it could be a blessing or it could be a curse upon us, right? And I'll play the clip real quick. Let me actually back it up a little bit. Maybe somewhere around here. Not sure, but we'll see.
The elite basically believe in showing what they're doing in the shows and in the movies because of the concept that you just mentioned called karmic retribution. And their occult belief system, they believe that if they show you the agendas and you consume it as entertainment, you've participated in their ritual. And so they're relieved of any bad, quote unquote, energy. Right. And so that's why, like, if you really want to study what they're doing, you can see it in the movies.
Yeah, you don't have to go anywhere.
Black Mirror is a great example of that. Guys, if God has blessed you through this ministry, I want to give you a opportunity.
Yeah, man, that's what we do. You know, we give people flashbacks and we bring people back to old days, better days, back when, you know, like some of these communities and channels weren't flooded with like a lot of odd people. I'll just leave it at that. Or like a lot of rage baity people, right? Yeah, you know, just better times altogether. Yeah, let me see if I can fast forward this real quick.
Bro. Yeah. Like, this sounds bizarre, but it is actually happening.
Yeah. And the unfortunate thing is someone might look at this and be like, oh, these guys are sick. These guys are retarded. No, we're not. We're not. This is exactly what they're doing.
Yes.
And they're not afraid to tell us now because it's at a point in time where it's like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do about it? Most people look at the Epstein files now and they're like, hey, nothing's going to happen. The point isn't the fact that nothing's going to happen, is the fact that they need to tell you and show you that this is what they've been doing. And so whether you believe it or not is totally up to you. But now the truth is out there. You can research the files for yourself.
Yeah, go look at it for yourself.
It's not a secret. You can go read it. And it's like, but now what has to happen is, in my humble opinion, I believe the church who has been asleep needs to wake up, because we are fighting a spiritual battle.
Yes.
And we're coming to the conclusion that, okay, we really have not been taking and actually contending for the faith the way that we are called to contend for the faith. We're really not interceding for souls as we should be. We're really not fasting and praying as we should be. We're really not in these streets preaching the gospel as we should be. And when you read the files, if you're not disturbed, I mean, I get disturbed just talking or thinking about abortion.
Yeah.
But when you read the files and some of the things that they talk about on the files, of course, because I know it's YouTube, there's probably a lot of things we can't say, but when you read some of the things that are going on or has been going on, there's no way it can come across like, okay, and go back to doing what you're doing.
No, you can't.
You will be disturbed. Your spirit will be.
Yep, and you know, it all goes back to, you know, brushing up and renewing your discernment, right? What is discernment? Well, discernment is just simply put, being able to like feel and know in your spirit that either something is right or something is wrong, something's off or something is going how it's supposed to, like how God intended it to go, or if something is of God or if something is not of God. Right. So when we're living a life that, you know, we're lacking discernment, that's a very dangerous way to live. You know, as a believer, as someone who is of the faith, as someone who, you know, says that, you know, the follower of Christ or whatever the case may be in the gospel, right? And yet not able to truly like decipher and be like, that is of God, 100,010%, you know, like no doubt about it, or be like, yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about this person or what they're saying. I feel like something's off. Think they were not sent by God. Maybe they were sent by somebody else, etc., etc., etc. So this is why, you know, discernment, and this is something I've always said, and I always will say, discernment is one of the most powerful tools that any believer in Christ will have, because if you have genuine discernment and you're able to tell when something is of God and when something is not of God, or when something is a blessing or when something is a curse, etc., you know, you're able to move effectively, like in the spirit, and you're able to complete God's purposes in your life a lot smoother versus like tripping up because you didn't know, because you were ignorant of, things not being what you thought they were, or vice versa, right? So, discernment, one of the ginormous tools that we have at our disposal as Christians, as believers in Christ, as people of the faith. But we need to continuously ask God to renew and, like restore our discernment. Hamster says, I stopped watching most of those movies. Hollywood is evil. I still like Halloween, so I'll watch some of that time of year, but not the real crazy demonic movie. Well, I mean, what would you consider like not crazy demonic? I would love to hear some of those options, or read some of those options. What you would consider like okay Halloween movies, as far as like them not being like super demonic or whatever. But yeah, no. Yeah, the reason I'm sharing this clip, obviously this podcast episode is like, let me see, an hour long, so it's kind of hard to like select what part of the episode or podcast was directly talking about the whole like frequency situation, and how frequencies in music and in songs affect us in our brain, in our emotions, our spirit. But long story short, there's a part where they talk about XXX Tentacion, and how he stated in an interview how he's able to legitimately manipulate listeners into feeling depressed, or feeling anxious, or feeling happy, or feeling any type of way he wanted them to feel, based on the frequencies that he would adjust his music and songs to. So this is not someone like saying like, oh, without any like evidence to support it. Like if you go to his like fan base, you will see that, pretty much what he said he was able to do and knew how to do was legit what he was capable and did do through his music, you know. And it's sad because he was someone who was very knowledgeable of the fundamentals of music, pertaining to how music actually biologically affects us, right? And then of course spiritually affects us, and mentally, and all that stuff. So when you have someone who has that much knowledge at their disposal, and they're playing for the other team, they're playing for the enemy side, right? Uh, the amount of destruction that you're able to do to the good side is ginormous. Because guess what? Sometimes believers slip up and they'll listen to certain types of music and songs and singers that they shouldn't be listening to. And then they get cursed, and because they open doors to demonic activity, now they're cursed with some type of like evil spirit oppression, you know. Hamster says there's some old family Halloween movies and cartoons and TV sitcoms. Some Family Matters. Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, okay. Yeah. You're talking about like wholesome, like 90s and 80s and early 2000 like Halloween specials and stuff. I can honestly say I wouldn't have done some things in my past if it wasn't for the music I used to. Yeah, man. People don't know. People think it's a joke. People think, yeah. It doesn't influence me. Like, no, bro. Like, subconsciously, like on a subconscious level, it does affect everyone. This is why gotta be careful and have certain precautions of like what you watch and listen to, which is the essence of this channel. This is the basis of this channel, is literally, be aware and be careful and cautious of what you allow into your ears and through your eyes. That's the whole point of the logo of our channel. It's not the third eye. It's not the eye of Horus or whatever. It's literally, I mean, we did it that way because we do enjoy being like controversial and like I guess rage baiting with the logo a little bit, but it's legitimately like the what's surrounding the eye, the pupil, is like sound waves, right? So it's like sound waves and the eye, right? So it's kind of like there was another thing like in the logo when it like before it got to be what it is right now. But in essence, there was something else along with the logo, which was like a caution visual along with what it has now. But basically, in essence, it's what it is. It's like just be careful and cautious of what you listen to and what you watch, what you allow to enter your body through your eyes, and what you allow to enter your soul and spirit through your ears. Right. Anyways, let's see if I can still share a little bit of this.
It'll be too quelled up like into their soul,
Mhm.
and now it's corrupted them. And a lot of parents are, well, I don't know why my child doesn't want to come to church, or
Congregation that looks like a club that's playing.
and after 3 or 4 repetitions.
Like Jesus literally says in the scriptures, whoever causes these little ones to sin.
If you think about it biblically, let's just talk about from a biblical standpoint, blood rituals are a thing to actually receive the true love from the world.
People don't understand is like, yes, fame plays an aspect into that by Satan.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because you go look at the book of Ezekiel. So when you have music that's not glorifying God and glorifying sin, which ultimately is a glorification of Satan, whose presence do you think you're coming into? You're coming into Lucifer's presence.
Preach it.
And I don't understand how Christians can be comfortable listening to music about sin. Like, is the Holy Spirit not grieved within you when you listen to this stuff?
Yeah.
Because if we say that we have God living in us, but here's the
It's facts. Anyways, I guess you guys can watch the entirety of that episode after you watch tonight's show. But you just look it up through Nick Kiswani, the music industry secret demonic programming. Again, at some point throughout that podcast episode, they talk about frequencies and how they affect the human body, the brain, all that stuff, the spirit. Anyways, the reason I bring that up is because I am still optimistic and hopeful that eventually at some point, Fallen World Films and Constantine and I and a few other content creators can hopefully finally collaborate and work together and do like a full-length documentary with like actual historical data, evidence, music theory, proof, and just talk about this topic on a deeper level. And I don't know if like watching this episode from this podcast like brought up kind of like the or resurfaced the interest that I've been having getting into that topic with other content creators and making like a documentary video. No duh. Doing a documentary about this topic on a deeper level. So, if Tim sees this, yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, I know that in the past I made a Proton email account to communicate with Tim from Fallen World Films, and I've just haven't used it in forever. So I don't know if he's been trying to contact me through there. It's a possibility. But I'm gonna have to tag him on this, and hopefully he hears this part and we're able to like communicate and get the documentary going. So anyways, what's the other thing? Yeah, okay. Man, I'm already getting tired. It's only been an hour and 20 minutes. I remember when I would go for like 3 or 4 hours and like just be fine. Now, if it's like 2 hours, I will definitely start feeling it. But anyways, what's the other topic I have written over here? As iron sharpens iron. All right, so I guess that side topic I was going to touch on when I put as iron sharpens iron, is the rapture is near, y'all. Like the return of Christ is Friday night. No yawning, it's Friday night. Listen, I had a long day today and yesterday. And while today looks and feels promising and I'm excited about tomorrow, like I'm feeling it, man. Like I'm really starting to feel it little by little. And the part that sucks is that now I gotta be careful with the caffeine intake that I be doing. Like I think I overdid it today with caffeine. And at some point I started like feeling dizzy. Like I was like serving myself like dinner and I was like feeling like dizzy. Like I was like, you know, those like little stages like before you pass out and like faint. Like I was feeling like that, and I was like, whoa. Like I felt like the room like spin around me, and I kind of like whoa, what is this? And then I remembered, I'm like, well, damn, let me see. I had I had that C4 in the morning. Then I had the pre-workout before I did like actual workout, and then I had like a Red Bull like right before like dinner. So we're talking about easy. I don't know, somewhere between like anywhere between 500 to 600 like milligrams of like caffeine. That's a lot. That is a lot. And the problem is that they were too close to each other. Like most of the time, I'll have those amounts, but I'll have them like spread out throughout the day. But today, oh yeah, definitely because the pre-workout I think it's like 300 milligrams. The C4 is like 200 milligrams. And I think the Red Bull, the one that I picked for today, was like, I don't know, like somewhere between 50 and like 100 milligrams. But anyways, like today I really like I messed up because I had them like really close to each other. And I think both things are true. The pre-workout definitely had a lot to do with it. It had the highest, dose of milligrams of caffeine, but also just like the back-to-back. So that's the first time I had ever felt that. I had never gotten dizzy, ever. Like, well, maybe when I was like way younger, but outside of that, I had never felt that type of like, feeling of like feeling dizzy and like seeing like the room spin around me. I was like, what the heck is this? I was like, definitely the OD on caffeine. But hey, man, I'd rather OD on caffeine and energy than on anything else. All right. So if one day, I pass out, just know that it was off of caffeine, literally energy drinks or anything caffeinated, So that's a decent way to go. That might not be happening. I will keep that in mind. I will seriously keep that into consideration. Yeah. If that happens again, then go tell a doctor because that might not be caffeine. I will take that into consideration and I will put it in my pocket. And yeah. Lisa says, hello, DDQ and everyone stooping by and to say hello. Listen, if you're stooping by, you can't leave the stoop because stoop kids afraid to leave a stoop. So, just keep that in mind. It's okay. You didn't have to face it. You didn't have to face it. I was just fine. Just entertaining the thought that you were at a stoop. I was having fun with that. But now that you corrected your typo, it's like, geez, fine. I'll take I'll take my joke back. Yeah, man, you get it. You get it. Stoop kids afraid to leave the stoop. Stoop kids afraid to leave the stoop. Anyways. Yeah, so you did well. Appreciate it. The rapture's upon us. I'm not putting a date on it. I'm not going to say it's going to happen like next month, next year. It's not going to happen 2030. But I will say the rapture is upon us. it's closer every day that we wake up. So what better way to keep ourselves on our toes than praying for each other, but also asking each other like, hey, if the rapture were to happen today, will you be caught up to see Jesus? Will you be caught up to meet the Lord? Will you be caught up in the clouds? Right? These are the questions that real friends ask friends. Okay, if you are my brother or sister in Christ, if you're a friend of mine, if you're in my circle, I need you to do me a strong favor and ask me on a daily, hey Q, because I am going currently by Q now. I'm trying to you know wipe away the old and start anew. So because I don't mind when you guys call me JDQ because I know you do it thinking of like old days and old times, and you're thinking about all the good times we had like on the former channel, and I get that. But with everything that I've gone through, you know, going by Q, it just helps me kind of like remind myself like that's what Pops used to go by like in the army, Mr. Q, right? And I don't know. I'm trying to do my very best to kind of like live up to like his footsteps and try and kind of like honor him and just being a better version of myself moving forward. So it's kind of like a reminder to myself. You know, what would have like Pops done? How would have Pops like handled this, or how would have he communicated this, or what would have he done in my shoes in this situation? It's kind of like a what would Jesus do, but which we should be asking ourselves every day. But in my case, trying to honor him and trying to honor what great of a role model he was, like for me and my siblings and my family. I just figured like why not take up that mantle, and kind of like take that name and run with it. I love this Michael Anderson guy. God bless him. God bless you, brother. God bless you. I hope you and your family are blessed. I hope that you are well. I hope that God really does interact with you tonight and always. And you know what? God does care. God does care about you. And Jesus loves you. And as a potential brother in Christ in the future, I love you too, bro. Everything that you're saying is just letting me know that you love me too. And I appreciate that. Like from the bottom of my heart, I really do love the fact that you're supporting the channel and the live by commenting. Every comment that you make helps the algorithm in my favor. And every comment that you make, whether it be negative or positive, it just moves more traffic into the live stream. So the more you talk and the more you express yourself, it just brings more people to the live stream. So I appreciate your support, bro. I really do. It means a lot. So by all means, by all means, keep saying what you got to say. Keep expressing yourself. Keep saying what you want to say. I love hearing people's thoughts and opinions and comments. So I welcome all of it. As a matter of fact, keep every word and phrase that you're going to say separate. That way it counts as more comments and like more additional comments. And, just boost that algorithm for me. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much. The fact that you're doing any of this, it means a lot to me. And I just, thanks for loving on me like that, bro. I appreciate that. Anyways, so yeah, man, we gotta like remind each other, like friends who love their friends, they remind each other and ask, are you ready for the rapture? Are you ready for the second return of Christ? And I don't know, like if you're someone who really cares about somebody else, like whether it be like a family member or a friend or a coworker, these are the questions that you ask them. Like, if God were to return today, would you be ready? Would you be like spiritually in line with God to be taken up, to His presence in a blink of an eye? Right? That's what the Bible says. In the blink of an eye, in the twinkling of an eye, right? And so, yeah, I mean, I want to make that into an actual habit on a daily basis. Is like just randomly comment or message to someone on social media or someone in the contacts of my phone, just randomly, like just pick one person per day. Like, hey, you know, if the rapture were to happen right now, would you be ready? If God called up his church right this instant, would you be caught up to meet him in the clouds? Yeah. So I think that's something that we should all be doing, to be honest. I'm gonna try to start doing that like today or tomorrow. Just to keep everybody on their toes, and even myself, because when you ask that question, you're asking that person, but you're also asking yourself at the same time. Hamster says, looking at the state of the world, I'm ready for the rapture, and I hope Jesus destroys all the flock cameras when he comes back. You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? Like they put up a few flock cameras here. Like maybe somewhere between like a month or two ago, right? And there's a really big one near the corner of like my neighborhood, and I was just like, at first I was like, oh, you know, there used to be like cops in that corner trying to like cause like a speed trap and like catch people like speeding right in that little like hill. But then I'm like, I get how that would be the excuse and that would be the theory behind why that camera's there now. Because, you know, like, can't have cops just chilling there like from time to time all the time, right? So that's why they put that camera there, so that they don't have to like use the actual like officers and like their vehicles to be in that area, right? So that they can go off to do more important things, right? But then when you really think about it, it's like, yeah, that's not good. It's really not good, and it's really disturbing. But it's been happening ever since like COVID. It's just happening more openly and more frequently now, you know. But I remember like when COVID like first started, I remember like watching a lot of like street lights like change. Like I remember like because obviously I was one of those people who would go out with my vehicle and like drive around to like surveil the area or just like look at the area and see what was going on because, you know, curiosity. And I would see like a lot of like street lights and street posts like being changed, and then you got like the purple hue light bulbs, right? And that's for like other purposes and other reasons. And I saw that in real time. I saw when they changed a lot of street lights for those newer lights, and then afterwards I found out what it was for, and it was like, damn, you know, this is why they wanted everybody inside their houses. Well, one of many reasons of why they wanted everybody in their houses, because they were doing all these changes out on the street, putting cameras, putting like certain like lights, right? That would, yeah, same. Now it's like purple or like light pinkish like hues, and you know what it's about. You know exactly what it's for. You don't have to second guess it. Like whatever your gut is telling you is pretty much what it is, or whatever the government says it's not is what it is. Anyways, what was the other thing? Okay, all right. This might be the last topic that we touch on real quick before I end the stream. Doomsday. Avengers Doomsday. You know? Let's talk about it. I know some of you are gonna be like, Q, come on, man. Like, there's more important things happening in the world right now. You know, that earthquake that happened in such and such place a few days ago. You know, you got that one person. There's a lot going on, especially the whole like Hayden Panettiere thing. You know, I didn't cry, you know, but if I would have cried, it would have been manly tears. But I didn't cry. But I was really upset. I was like, damn, like that really sucks. That really was like really disturbing. Like, yo, she's like mad young. She was like, I think a year younger than me or something like that, with 36 or 37 years old. And I was just like, man, that's like one of the few like blonde white girls actresses that I had a crush on like growing up. You know, it's really disappointing. Like that much of a fan of when it comes like in general, like white girls, but like white girl actresses and then blonde. I was like, that's a damn shame. That's a damn shame. She was one of the few. She was one of the proud. She was one of the Marines. Kidding. She was just one of the few that I was like into at the time when I was growing up. Especially when she was on Heroes. Listen, don't even get me started. Anyways, yes, there is a lot more important things to talk about, and there's a lot of things that are going on. But I kind of already leveled that out and balanced that out from the get-go at the beginning of the show. You know, talking about the whole what's her face situation trial, Lindsay trial. So now we're gonna try to end things on a high note, on a really, you know, it's still controversial, but on a lighter, higher, positive note. And yes, I do agree. She was very talented actress, and for the most part, you know, like from what I remember, you know, this could be me with like wishful thinking or you know whatever, but from what I remember, for the most part, she always had a very positive, like happy-go-lucky, like optimistic, cheerful, like vibe to her. You know, she was very, I don't know, she looked like a genuinely like good person. You know, like lot of actors and actresses in Hollywood, like you can kind of like smell the fake off of them. You know, you can smell that they're not. I don't know. They're just putting up a front, but they're like not good people. With her, I felt like she was legitimately and genuinely like a good person. You know, and then of course, when you say too much and you don't protect yourself enough, these things happen. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Like when you say too much and when you expose too much and you don't have enough protection, what happened to her tends to happen. You know, um, but it's a shame just how young she was. Anyways, let's get into Avengers Doomsday real quick. Um, let's talk about it. Let me just get a. I'm trying to get some visuals over here. Okay. Man, these wallpapers suck. Whatever. I don't want to use this one though. This does not look crisp. Oh Lord help me. Okay. You know what? Let's use this one because it kind of has to do with what I want to talk about. Let's use this one. Come on, man. Ew. Okay, here we go. Can we like get this out the way? Dear God, this is so many hoops to go through just to get a wallpaper. Okay, here we go. That was okay. Yeah. Hey, don't get me started on that, bro. Don't listen. That's exactly the same train of thought that I had with like Geeko and my brother and even my sister. Like, you know, it's odd how just this upcoming movie, and then of course we had Disclosure Day as one of the other movies that we recently had like a few months ago, and now this upcoming movie at the end of the year, Doomsday, right? And then different mask, same task, same actor playing both as the hero and villain, quote unquote. Christ, Antichrist symbolism. I could dive deep into that whole topic right now, but I'm not going to. I'm going to keep it light. I'm going to keep it superficial. I'm going to keep it like just surface level excitement, happy-go-lucky fan here, But with what I said, I could make an entire 1 hour video just on that premise. Anyways, all right, y'all. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about this. I keep hearing, you know what? Let me put my face larger because I want y'all. I want to see y'all face to face. I want y'all to look me in the eye, right? As I say this, I hear a lot of people complaining. Matter of fact, I just got done watching a video before I came on here. And I watch a lot of these like content creators that I follow and like support from time to time. But I sometimes I hear them say certain things, and I'm just like, can we just please enjoy the film for what it is and stop nitpicking everything? Listen, man. I've said this before and I'll say it again. RDJ does not need this movie. That man is balling beyond what balls he might have. Okay? He don't need to be in this movie. He is not desperate to be in this movie. Okay? He's got probably billions under his name right now. Okay? The only reason he even said yes to this movie is because the Russo brothers like writing, like the plot and like the twist in the movie of how his face is gonna be also Dr. Doom's face it will be revealed to be one of the greatest plot twists in cinematic history. So that alone, the fact that he even said yes to come back to play a different character with his same face though, like it should already be like reasons for you to be excited. Why? Well, because whatever plot twist the Russo brothers have written into this film, whatever surprise reason that will make perfect logical sense to us as the viewers, as the fans, for us to be like, holy crap, that's right. Like, it's gonna be one of those moments where we're gonna be awed. We're gonna be like so genuinely shocked how perfectly or perfect sense it will make once they explain the reason of why these two different characters have the same face. It's gonna be like this was well worth it. So I don't want to hear any of this nonsense of like, oh, like they should have picked a different person. Oh, they're just using the other people for this nostalgia. Oh, listen, man. I'm not saying the Russo brothers can never fail. I'm not saying the Russo brothers can never make mistakes, and I'm not saying that they're never gonna make a bomb like movie, right? But up until this point, every movie that they have given us so far has been like peak level MCU. They have just raised the bar every time they make an Avengers movie. It's like they raised the bar even higher. Not because of the people involved, like not because of the actors or like characters involved necessarily, but because of the strong, passionate storytelling within these movies. So if Robert Downey Jr., not needing this movie, agreed to come back to play this new different character because the twist was just that powerful and because it will make that much sense to the viewer tells me a lot. Because listen, like I'm gonna tell you again, like someone at his level is not going to risk the reputation just for money. They're just not gonna do it. Especially like someone like him. He doesn't need the money. He could already retire, and just like not do any more movies off of the money he's made and the money he continues to make, like, you know, royalties and whatnot. But yet he came back. When an actor puts himself on the line and puts himself in a position where his reputation can take a ginormous hit, and it's a risk that he's taking. You know, that's not to be taken lightly. It's not to be taken like, oh, he's just in it for the money. Oh, he's just in it for the cash grab. Again, someone like him does not want to ruin their reputation and, you know, blacklist himself off of other projects and movies just for money. There's no way he's doing that. So I'm just gonna tell you right now, like whatever the Russo brothers are cooking up as far as like the plot of the movie and the whatever twist that they have in mind and written down that is going to like make logical sense to us, it's got to be that much more worth it. So, but yeah, I hear like other content creators like, oh, like this is like a cash grab. Oh, they're just relying on nostalgia. Oh, they're just relying on like old characters, and oh, they're just relying on just shoving as many like cameos and like featured appearances in these movies, and they're falling back on that. Like, not necessarily, man. Not necessarily. Like, I don't know. I truly do believe this movie will make somewhere between 2 and 3 billion. Like, whether it be opening week, whether it be on the second week, whether it be in total in the entirety of the time that it's in the theaters, I really do believe it's going to make somewhere between 2 and 3 billion. Again, because it's going to be really, really well written. And here's the thing. The plot of the movie has been leaked, right? It's been leaked. But I'm telling you right now, man, we're going to be so heavily wrong-footed. We're going to be so heavily wrong-footed, bro. Like, they're going to throw some curveballs at us that were not seen in the leaked plot of the movie. And it's going to catch us by surprise and it catches us off guard. We're going to be like, holy crap, I did not see that coming. And yet it makes total sense. Absolutely. That's going to be us. And I bet you a lot of us. So I saw Brand New Day like 3 times. First time, it was meant to be my sister, my mom, and me. My sister couldn't make it, so the theater gave me like 3 free tickets to go like watch whatever movie on whatever day with expiration day until like October. So the second time I watched the movie, I watched it with my sister, and then the third time I saw it by myself in a 4D room without the actual 4D experience, because I had to pick one of those handicapped chairs or seats because there was no room available in the actual regular seats when I booked the showtime. So that was kind of like, it was a sweet and bitter moment for me, you know, sweet and sour. But anyways, yeah, it's gonna make somewhere between 2 and 3 billion. I'm telling you right now, 2 and 3 billion. Again, whether it be the first week, second week, or overall total sales while it's in the theaters. And it's gonna be because it's gonna be really well written, and it's gonna surprise us, and it's gonna like just, it's gonna throw lots of curveballs at us, and we're gonna be like, well, damn, that was the most exquisite, beautiful, spectacular, you know, writing I had seen ever. And I can't wait to find out what it is. I can't wait to see what the reveal and the plot twist is, for the reasoning behind, you know, Tony Stank being Victor Von Doom. I already have an idea, but still, it's still gonna be pretty cool to like see it in person. Anyways. Um, I have something else I want to share with you guys, but I'll probably leave it for another show because I'm starting to like lose my voice a little bit, and I guess I should start wrapping things up because it is getting like super late, and I have a very interesting day, exciting day tomorrow. But anyways, that being said, anybody here still need or want to say something in the live chat before I leave? If y'all want to leave like a prayer request, or y'all want to like leave a topic for like the next show, or y'all want to leave a link for me to like check out for after the show, and maybe bring it up in conversation in the next show. Whatever you guys want to do, you know, I'm here for it. So just let me know in the live chat, and we'll get it popping. Now, for those of you who are wanting to bless the team, y'all trying to bless the channel so that we can continue to like, you know, continue like to little by little gradually start doing this more often, more regularly. There is a QR code in the upper right corner of the screen, right? If you're watching this on a desktop, you know, you can use your phone to scan it. But if you're using a phone to view it, you can just like use another phone to like scan it, vice versa. And you can bless the channel or my person with a little something. No one is obligated to. No one is forced to give me or us anything, but it just facilitates and allows us to keep doing our thing on here on this channel more smoothly, and help pay for like the StreamYard membership so that we can use all the features that StreamYard offers. And or if y'all just want to like help pay for like gas or an energy drink, y'all can do that too. You know what I'm saying? The options right there in the upper right corner. Also, my birthday is coming up on the 30th, so that's another reason that, you know, if you want to bless me for a little something for like my birthday, that again, you're not obligated to, you're not forced to, and I'm definitely not asking or begging anyone to do so. But if you feel it in your heart, you're able to, and you want to, you can use that QR code and bless me with a little something for my birthday. That'd be cool, but no pressure. Anyways, and by the way, for anybody not knowing what I'm wearing right now, let me just hold on. Yeah, a little coffee black for you. Number 7, God's number. A little coffee black for you. Anyways, right. If there's nothing else to be said in the live chat, no prayer requests, no additional comments that y'all want to throw my way, then I will just say thank you guys for your support. Thank you for being here, whether it be for a few seconds, a few minutes, or the entirety of the show. I appreciate every single one of you guys, as always. Hamster, Lisa, Michael Anderson. Who else? Jay Wendell, Collective Minds Pod, and anyone else who was here at any point in time throughout the show and just didn't say anything or couldn't say anything. I appreciate the support. So God bless you guys, and I'll see you all on the next one. Stay blessed, stay safe out there. And this was JDQ. Who's that guy? This is Q with Vision IBU TV. Until next time, peace out.
I was lost in the dark so long. I forgot what the light felt like. Let there be light. Cold nights, still advance feeling. World loud, still feel missing. pressure build, chest tight, can't breathe. Everybody talk, nobody hear me. I've been fighting thoughts all week. Eyes low, barely getting sleep. Somewhere in the dark I felt change. Like the void finally learned my name. I've been drowning inside my mind, trying to leave the old me behind. Now the pressure turning to light, like something woke up inside tonight. So let me leave light inside of me tonight. I've been living in the dark too long, trying to find where I belong. Let there be peace, let these chains release. If I'm falling through the sky tonight, just promise me the stars still shine. Walking through the fire, hands tied, trying to stay alive through the high tide. Every scar got a story deep inside. Every loss left a hole I still hide. Lately feel the whole world numb. Everybody want love, nobody trust. Everybody want truth till it finally come. Then they run back to the dark when they get too much. But I can feel something calling out, like the universe trying to pull me out. Maybe broken soul still worth something now. Maybe all this pain had a bigger route. So let there be light.